I'm Mr. Grindler, and here are my creatures. And welcome back to another episode of Mr. Grindlers Creatures, but on today's episode we are doing a sazimai pairing, so the Brazilian blue, is it? No. Is it Brazilian blue tarantula? I'm no good with common names, I'll list it down below. I think it's Brazilian blue. But yeah, I can never say the first bit, so I'll just call it a sazimai. But anyway, we are going to be pairing one of them today. So let's go straight down to the table and let's have a look at this pairing.
So I think the correct way of saying this is the Pterinopelma sazimai. I think that's correct. Silent P. But this male and female goes back way far, if I'm honest. So if I remember correctly, Luke brought this male and female round. And the female was obviously in pre-molt. It was obvious. Her colour was really faded. Her abdomen was massive. She was barely accepting any food, so we was like, you know what, we're going to wait until we pair this. The male was already mature though, so, I thought to myself, all hope was lost, this male's going to die. But luckily enough, this female actually molted out with the male still alive at the time, so this recording of this pairing was actually quite some time ago, so I apologise for not getting it out. But there's two pairings in this video, and they're rather interesting, so I hope you enjoy it. Now this bit proper gets me on edge. Now with the male inside the enclosure, we are just waiting for a movement from either himself or her. It's just like a waiting game now, waiting to see who moves first and watching what the first movements are, whether they're good or whether they're bad. And the male starts venturing. And he seems to be going the wrong way so far. Let's hope this female notices him. Now as you can see, the female is starting to turn around. She has noticed that the male is inside the enclosure. So let's hope this all goes well. With the female coming out of her enclosure, the male is still in the same position that he was, He just needs to turn around a little bit. Maybe he's being a bit stubborn. But as you can see, the female is coming out of her burrow and trying to make first contact with him. So far, so good. They both start getting into the position that they need to be, but the female needs to raise her body up and her legs at the same time. So as you can see, the male is putting all his front legs onto the female, trying to like push her backwards, but he's actually trying to make her go up so he can complete the deed that he needs to do. And what fascinates me as well is this bit just looks like he's pushing her back into the burrow. It's like, get back in there. Now she is being very tolerant with him, which is a good sign. So fingers crossed, this will be a successful pairing. So after all these years, this male is finally doing the deed that he was meant to do. Now I must admit, these were at it for some time, so I've managed to speed up a bit of the content that I recorded, and then we'll see what happens after. Now make sure you watch closely here, because things are about to go down, and are bad. But if you look closely enough, you can see the female, she starts to come back down, and as she comes back down, she tries to, I don't know, it looks like she's trying to grab his legs a bit. And this is when we knew we had to go in and stop this. may have just saved his life there. So further down the line, we decided to pair them once again, and this time it wasn't that good, if I'm honest. But with the male on his last legs, we decided to give it one last go. So I'm just going to show you the main clips from this pairing, and show you what can actually go wrong when pairing tarantulas. Now make sure you watch very closely here. This is the most nerve-wracking bit for me, and this sort of shows why. It happened so quick, and I genuinely thought he was a goner then. Luckily enough, he managed to escape by himself. But this is some of the bits that during a pairing just proper gives me anxiety a bit. That first contact. You never know what's going to actually happen. But we can obviously see that she isn't down to pair today. She has gone back inside her burrow, so it's now time to get this male out. And whether this was all successful when we get a sack, I'll let you know down the line. And as for this boy, unfortunately he's now passed away. He just started refusing food and he was getting more weaker and weaker.
But that is all the footage for today's episode, so we are now coming to the end of the episode. So if you could like, comment and share, that would be absolutely great. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and hit that bell icon so you're notified of when I upload next. Don't forget guys, I've got Patreon now, 5 different tiers, so if you want to help and support the channel, there's a link down in the description. But Mr. Grindlers down here, so are my creatures, so are my Balfouries. Have a great week guys, you all deserve it. Peace.